You are watching Lesson 8 for beginning students of the Dance of the Eye and the Hand. Today we will learn Chinese numbers and how to arrange them in today's date so you can inscribe your painting.
Hey, it's good to see you again. Today we're going to learn about Chinese numbers. We're going to learn the individual characters for 1 to 9, the character for 0, and then the characters for day, month, and year. And then I'll demonstrate how to combine those to do today's date so that then you can inscribe your calligraphies or your paintings. So a couple of reminders as I get started. I usually have my model set out in front of me so I can clearly see what I'm painting today. I have my paper, and the paper I've checked the texture on both sides. I want to paint on the smoother side. Start with my brush. I'm going to get it wet in my water dish and then wick off the excess. Use my mixing dish to further fix the point. And again, I don't want to be twisting the hairs, but I want to draw them in straight lines so I get hairs that are parallel and get a good sharp point. Pick up a little bit of ink from my inkstone and then start wiping or swiping the brush upward. I can pull it at the edge of the dish to get excess water off and then continue the long sort of horizontal strokes to mix that up. Have my test sheet here so I can press and hold and see how quickly does it spread and what its color is. It has a little bit of too much moisture in. I can see that in the shine, and so I'm just going to gently touch it against this tissue, take off some of that excess water, go back to the mixing dish, not the ink, but the mixing dish, and just rework what's in the brush. And then test it again. I'll press and hold. This time I can see it spreading slower, less of a gray halo around it. I'll refix my point and we'll get started. So we're going to do Chinese numbers. We're going to start with the number 1, which is just simply a wave stroke. So pressing down to left, lift as I move, press and lift. And again, remembering not to flip it up, but just lift to the right and the hand will take care of a little bit of upward motion. So numeral 2 starts with horizontal. So I go left, right, left, and then another wave. Down to left, press, lift a bit as I move, press again and lift. And again, that wave, the wave part of the wave is the underside of that stroke. The top is a straight line. So to get that slope, I need to go down and press, lift, press, lift. Numeral 3 starts with one horizontal, then a second horizontal, and then my wave. Down to left, press, lift a bit as I move, press again, and lift. So that's 1, 2, 3. Character for 4 starts with a short left vertical, then horizontal connects to vertical, and then 1, 2 vertical dots, and then lastly closing it all with a horizontal. And this character is narrow and long. Then numeral 5, we start with a simple horizontal, then horizontal connects to down to left, then vertical going up into that horizontal, coming down even with that down to left, and then lastly a wave. The wave starts before these strokes and the pressing starts after that. So don't press too late or too soon. So down to left, press, lift as I move, press and lift, and that's my numeral 5. Go back to my dish, I reset my point, remix my ink, and I move to the next column. Here, starting with numeral 6, I start with a dot, and then I have a wave, but I would call this a constricted wave. It doesn't have as much pressing at either end. So I still go back and press a bit, but not so much. Come across, press, and lift. So it's been condensed or compressed. Then a pair of dots, a short one to left, a little longer, a little heavier to right, and that is numeral 6. Numeral 7 starts again with one of these constricted waves, just a little bit of pressing to begin with, a little bit of pressing and lift at the end, and then this vertical that just quickly turns to horizontal and back. And again, remembering, anytime there's a wave, you know the other strokes are all enclosed. So this I went up, down, turn, and back in. Numeral 8 looks like a badly trimmed mustache. I start with a down to left that's wave-like, but not a wave. It just has a little bit of a turn. And then down to right, again, wave-like, but closed strokes, both of those are. Then numeral 9 starts with this simple down to left, although not too much of a curve, and then a horizontal that connects to this curving stroke that's wave-like, but I don't press, I just lift and go. That's numeral 9. Numeral 10 is another one of these compressed waves. I do go back, I do press and lift, but I don't press as much. Cross it with a vertical, and I have numeral 10. Then I'm going to do character for year. Starts with a down to left dot, and again, as a lead stroke, it goes up, down, and back, all three motions. Then a horizontal, left, right, left. A second horizontal, left, right, left. And then another down to left dot, and one more horizontal. Then I cross that with a strong vertical going up into that first horizontal, coming down. I lift a little bit so I get a little bit of a taper on that vertical as I come down. Go back to my ink, just barely pick up a little bit, remix my brush so I have consistent ink through the piece. Then I have character for month. Starts with a vertical with a little bit of a turn to left. Oops, now I got too dry. Then horizontal that goes into that vertical and then connects to another horizontal. And then a pair of horizontals, left, right, left, left, right, left. And then lastly on this is character for day or sun. And then horizontal connects to vertical, horizontal, horizontal. Now I just realized I didn't do the 0, which should have been done first here, so I'll do it over here. And 0, again, is a lead stroke. I go one way and then change my direction, come around, simply making a large circle, go back in at the end, leaving just a little bit of an opening. It doesn't have to be closed, but the stroke is closed. I went this way, back the other way, and then back in. So let's do today's date, and you can refer to the handout, which has a page on how to combine numbers, single characters into more complex numbers like 20, 21, 15. In the Chinese style of signing a date, we would start with the year, then the month, and then the date of the day. So starting with year, I would start with numeral 2, and then a 0. So left, right, then is still 2020, so I do another numeral 2, down to left, pressing, a little bit of lifting as I move, press again and lift. Go back to my brush, a little bit of ink to keep the ink fluid. I don't want too dry of an ink, I don't want too wet of an ink. So one more 0, left, right, around and back in. I want to put a bit of air between those. I could have even done more space between 1 or 2 fingers, give it some room. Then after that, I will do the character for year. And that'll tell me that these numerals are telling me that this is the year. Down to left, then 1 horizontal, 2nd horizontal, left, right, left, 2nd down to left dot. These are not connected strokes, these are separate strokes. First the dot, then the horizontal, and then my vertical, nicely tied into that top horizontal. A little bit of lift to get a taper as I come down. So 2020, 2020 is the year. Now I'm painting this during July, so that is 7th month. And I can put a little more space between year and month and day, so a little more than what I did between these, just to show that there's a little break here. And I will do numeral 7, which is one of these constricted waves, a little bit of downward, a little bit of press, lift, and then up, down, turn, and back. Then the character for month, left, vertical, has a little bit of a turn at the end. Horizontal connects to vertical. I can lift a little bit to get a bit of a taper, and then a pair of horizontals, left, right, left, left, right, left. So 2010 is the year, 7th month, and today is the 17th. So I will start with the 10. Again, another one of these constricted waves. To that 10, I will add another 7. Down to left, but barely, press, lift, and then vertical to horizontal. And then after that, put the character for day, horizontal to vertical, pair of horizontals. And that would be my complete date. So here's my mountain from last week. I'm going to add a date. I have some choices to make as to where I would want to add the date. I could add it here, I could add it here. I'm going to choose to do it over here because I want to leave this space open. That'll help create a greater depth. And so if I put the date over here, this will sort of close this area, which will make this area bigger. So let's get the brush ready. So we'll start with numeral 2. And I'm trying to do this a little bit smaller. You can see as a challenge, how small can you make it? If you can't, you have that whole space to use. So 2, 0, 2, 0, a little bit of air between those characters. They don't have to be tight to each other. Then my character for year, down to left, horizontal, horizontal, 2nd down to left, 3rd horizontal, and then a vertical. So there's my year. Then leave a little more space, about twice as much as you did between the characters, and put my month, which is July. So I start with numeral 7, another one of those constricted waves, vertical, 2 horizontal, and then my character for month, pair of horizontals. And then lastly, to complete the date, the actual number of the day, and today is the 17th, so I start with 10. Again, another constricted wave, cross it, numeral 10, then add numeral 7, which will give me 17, up, down, to the right and back, and then lastly, my character for day, left vertical, horizontal connects to vertical, pair of horizontals, and I have a complete date and a more complete landscape. My painting, my date. At some point, if you have or already have a Chinese name, you could add that below here and have it even more complete piece. So that's our exercise on Chinese numbers, and let's see what you can do.
Before you go, one last note. The handouts for the Dance of the Eye and the Hand for beginning students and continuing students, all lessons, are posted as downloadable PDFs at www.laughingwatersstudio.com. Have a good day. You have been watching Distance Learning from Laughing Waters Studio.